Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Welcome in and hello to one and all. Hello, Coy Malone. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Sybil, Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown?
Huggy, how are you?
Hey, Sybil, I'm good. Welcome, Black Coy.
And
Christopher Paul, Sybil.
Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Sybil?
Good, good. What's going on with everybody? Or if I may just start out by congratulating you, Chris Paul.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations, brother.
Yep, I am a grandfather.
Oh,
Awesome.
My oldest son had a baby boy.
And
Little Marcel. He named him Marcel King, K-Y-N-G. I pulled him to the side and said, "Bruh, I didn't raise you to be that black."
but you did.
No, I didn't.
Congrats.
And how's everybody? Everybody healthy? Good?
Everybody's healthy. Everybody's good.
Oh,
But the crazy thing is, he was supposed to bring Marcel by the house today. He said, "Can you all watch Marcel for a couple hours?" But my wife isn't here. She went to Maryland, so then they decided, "Nah, you know what? We'll keep him."
They didn't trust you, Chris?
No, I guess not.
Nah, bro.
Already.
They must know. I didn't even feed our dog for the past 2 days.
They heard the dog is like on the phone, like, you don't want to bring the baby over here.
The dog had a sound like shit.
Have you decided on what your grandchild is going to call you? Like, what name would you like to go by?
That was my question too.
They call me Papa.
Papa.
I don't want to be a granddaddy.
Papa.
Grandfather.
That's like the character on The Shy, who Chris looks like right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So was Papa, was that a name that your kids called your dad, or this is brand new
No,
in the family?
They called him Granddad, but I'm going with Papa.
I like that. I
That's
like
a cool
that.
last name, bro. I can see that, Papa.
I like that. Big Papa. Yeah.
No, he just said Papa. They will put the big up in that thing.
You know,
We gotta wait and see how much money I have.
Right.
By the time he's a teenager, whether or not I'll be Big Papa.
Or bigger Papa.
Right.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, I'm very happy for you and Rachel and the family. That's awesome. That's awesome. What kind of granddad do you think you'll be?
I don't know.
Have you guys? So like, did you have a relationship with your grandfather, like, hands-on and a lot of visiting and close that way? Because I was separated from my grandparents by geographics.
No, all of my grandparents were deceased. Like by the time I was born.
Got it.
So
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
I'm just gonna basically think about how I raised my children and do the opposite.
And that means a lot of spoiling.
And they'll love me, yeah. And Marcel will love me.
Marcel King with a Y. I'm a man.
With a Y?
With a Y. With a Y.
And Coy liked that shit. Coy said, "What a what?"
I know, right? So everybody else has had a good weekend, good week, and I trust. Coy, I know that you had a little bit of excitement. You did some work on Saturday, I understand.
Yes. We worked on a PSA for abortion rights, and am I allowed to say who I played?
No, you don't have to. I just was saying that you booked a role.
Yes, I sure did.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that. And
you have to see who I played, though. I'm not gonna give it away. You have to see it. It's very interesting. Never played this role before, ever.
And did you speak?
No, everything was all like action.
Yeah.
Facial expressions, and I sold it apparently.
And pantomime, I guess. So
no more stripper roles.
Don't knock the stripper roles. I know. They do pay the rent, from what I understand. So yeah, absolutely. and Huggy's just kind of looking off into the distance, like
yeah, right.
You can't stop the rain.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad everyone.
Thank you.
I'm glad everyone had a good time this weekend and into this week. I look forward to more good things coming from everybody. Let us now move to the What You Need to Know newsletter, and that is our Monday through Friday newsletter in which we super serve the African American community. And we will also talk about particular stories in the newsletter. One of them is that written by our own Coy Malone. And Coy always has the longest headlines. But I was trying to figure out how to shorten this headline, but I don't know how you could. And I tried my best. But Coy talks about a federal lawsuit that's been filed by a Black man against a white cop in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, this one, here we go again. We've heard this story before, but apparently in February 2021, Donovan Johnson, who is a Black man, was approached by an officer, Stephen Conroy, who was white. Now, this officer approached him with a gun drawn and threw this man on the ground face first, and even had his neck, had a knee on this man's neck, to the point where this young man was screaming out, "I can't breathe." Now, what's crazy, what's crazy about this situation is that day, police were called to a hotel about a white man that staff believe had previously stolen TVs. So he was already known.
Wait, go back.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for
a white man
who
was already familiar. Yes, who was already a familiar person to the police because he has like a criminal history in this particular area of Massachusetts, I believe, Arlington, Massachusetts. So they also spoke with the suspect in his room. So they saw who this person is, and somehow he escaped. I don't know how, but somehow he escaped. So according to the lawsuit, the suspect ran past Mr. Johnson, and Officer Stephen Conroy approached both men and said, "Get the expletive on the ground, on the floor." So the suspect complied, but Mr. Johnson, he didn't do anything. Like he didn't get on the ground because he wasn't, the target of the search and investigation of the police officer. He knew he didn't do anything wrong. And that in turn, I guess, provoked the officer to violently arrest him, and he remained in custody until hotel employees confirmed that they had never seen him before. So now there's a lawsuit, federal lawsuit. And this lawsuit is basically charging that his civil rights were violated. And this all happened while he was returning home from work.
Interesting. And a guy, just getting up, going to work every day, Black man, and happens upon this situation, and all hell breaks loose, and something's got to be paid. A price has to be paid, but whether it is, we'll put them in, a timeout, or we'll, get some racial sensitivity training or whatever. I'm wondering, you guys, if you think that
which is bull, by the way, these days. So
right?
That whole racial sensitivity training is just,
so that's my question.
No pun intended.
It's a cop out. So is it just another one of those things that they'll promise to do, or they'll be required to do, but it won't do any good? Will it take firing? Will it take money on the part of the police department to have to pay for this policeman making this mistake?
Probably both.
I think it would take.
If racial sensitivity training it does so much to rehabilitate police officers who are racially insensitive, why not make it mandatory for every police officer before joining the force?
Yeah.
Like, why is it something after the fact to correct a wrong they did? It should be something proactive where everybody has to go through it before they're allowed to be a police officer, right?
Because they're showing them how to do this during training. We've, recently I did the story on the police department that was discovered to have all Black males as their shooting targets for practice. This is stuff that they're teaching them within training. So now you've trained them to be this way, and now when a situation happens, you have to untrain them to be this way.
It's like teaching people safe sex after they're pregnant.
Right.
You know, we
Right.
teach them before
the party gets started.
Not that it helped my son, but
Was that necessary, Chris?
what's up, Marcel?
And welcome to the family.
You see why they didn't leave Marcel with his ass? They knew.
On pass.
Papa on that bullshit.
And that's gonna probably be following Chris all the rest of his life. Papa be on that, you know. Yeah, exactly. So, if you can, I know you got a lot of cases to keep track of, Coy, but if you get any updates on that, please let us know.
Yes, and by the way, everybody, please sign up for the newsletter. It's daily in your mailbox, your inbox. Ooh, I sounded old. It comes to your inbox really early. And I have a very, very interesting story about a Black man and his job coming in tomorrow morning's newsletter. So you definitely need to sign up after the show, of course.
Or just check every day, because Coy's got a story about a Black man being done wrong every day. Because
that's your new handle. Coy got a story. That's your new handle.
About a Black man done wrong. Yeah, pretty much. We also talk in the newsletter about this Inflation Reduction Act that was finally passed in the United States Senate. This took up the majority of my weekend. I got to tell you, watching the sausage being made in the Senate as they were going through all of the.
You just gave some brother a secret shout out. Very clever, Sybil. Some women like to listen to Marvin Gaye, and others like to watch C-SPAN during it.
Whatever it is, whatever floats your boat, as it were. I'm down for it. Mine was watching the hours upon hours upon hours in the United States Senate of them offering amendments to the agenda known as the Inflation Reduction Act, and so this is how it happens, because so few bills have been passed in the United States Senate, especially with this 50-50 split. And, they needed to have the normally, if it's not something that has to do with budgetary situations, they have to go to the 60 vote of the House of the Democrats or the Senate or the Republicans to pass a bill. But this was budget related, so the parliamentarian said yes, you only need the majority of votes to get this bill passed. And so, cool, they got 50. Republicans got 50, but they also have the vice president, who is the president of the Senate, and that is the 51st vote. So then they got past that part, and then they went to the amendments, and this is just a stalling tactic. It is for the opposition to try to stop the quick passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. And so there were some 35 amendments that were read. They had to be voted upon, and then they move on to the next. So they call it Votorama. And they started this at about 11:30 Saturday night, and it went all the way till Sunday afternoon. All the way. There was no stopping for sleep. There was no stopping for a food break. No, nothing. They just kept going. They kept going. And they finally made it through, and they got to one hiccup, and that had something to do with what Kyrsten Sinema was interested in, and that had to do with this 15% tax on big corporations, and they said, we got Kyrsten Sinema, we have other people who are on our side. The Republicans have said this, and so they had to add this, and they kept going, and they finally made it all the way through. And they now have the agreement. The vice president comes back in. They vote 50-50. She gives the tie-breaking vote for the second time in less than a day. And now they have agreement on this Inflation Reduction Act. So what does this look like? They call this a $733 billion bill promoting deficit reduction, climate change, and some things that have to do with our health care. And so a part of this is a tax increase for some corporations, a 15% alternative minimum tax on corporations that make $1 billion or more in annual income. Now, why this is so interesting? Because the current corporate tax rate is 21%. But according to the laws, the bylaws, and tax accountants, some 200 or more large corporations use tax loopholes and avoid paying that rate, and they're usually below 15%. They don't even pay the required 21%. And so now this 15 is the level that they have to meet, regardless of what they've done in the past. The other thing is everybody's very excited about all of the things taking on climate change, including new businesses and hiring people in this investment in energy and climate reform. And this will be the largest federal investment in clean energy in gazillion years. And also they're lowering prescription drug prices. They're allowing people on Medicare to have their drug prices lowered by negotiating with drug companies. Now, the why this is interesting is because it's just for people on Medicare. People who have private insurance, the Republicans voted against it. They made them take this out of the bill. And so that just shows you they're still in the pockets of big pharma, and they don't want everybody to lower the prices on drugs. And there is a cap now on insulin, but that's also only for Medicare people. It's real. I know. I'm the only one that's geeking out about this, but I promise you, we're all going to see some sort of benefit from this, if nothing else, by the politicians being able to go back to their home states, to their congressional districts, and say, this is what we've been working to do, and hopefully you'll vote for our side, and we can get past needing, the 51 votes, and we can have enough people in the Senate to support our side. We can have enough people in the House of Representatives so that we don't have to have Kevin McCarthy as the next Speaker of the House. And so all of this is working for the good as far as Democrats are concerned. And so we will see what happens as a result of this. It now goes to the House. The House will vote on it, and we will see what happens. We will see what happens after Friday as the House goes and they vote on it, because they're coming back from summer break in order to vote on it, and then it's expected to go to the president's desk on Friday.
And the Republicans, as they always do, they go back to their home state and promote all the great stuff in this package that they voted against, but they'll still go back and take credit for it.
Right. And if their opponents are smart, they will absolutely let them know, no, they voted against it. And that's also the part that the Democratic National Committee and the DCC and all of them are playing in order to get this going.
They need to take commercials out on the local network showing what they didn't do.
Exactly.
They're just trash. They will remind you that they are trash.
Okay.
Just trash.
They will. Also, and yes, Michael Stallworth, you're absolutely right. It did happen last year as they were trying to get some pandemic bills passed. The Republicans did the same thing.
What's up with that monkeypox stimulus? Anybody gonna pass a monkeypox stimulus?
You know what? Now that it is in a state of awareness, and a lot of states are calling it, an emergency, a medical emergency. I think, Chris, before long, it's going to go national in terms of federal money to provide the vaccines, at least, for people, especially now that it's affecting so many different types of people, from children on up, and whether you're straight or gay or whatever. So also,
don't touch me.
right. Which does a lot for your dating life, I'm sure. So also want to talk about the Indiana abortion bill. We talked about that in the newsletter and how that came about. And this is just days after Kansas made an incredible impact on this country by saying, we want to have say in what we do with our bodies as far as women and reproductive rights. Well, Indiana said, we don't care what you think about your bodies. We have control of this, the majority of the men in the state legislature. And so the Republican male governor signed the bill, and it goes into effect in September 15th. And it all but shuts down any possibility of legal abortions in that state after 10 weeks. And also it does make some concessions regarding rape and incest. And welcome to
Some.
with some, yeah, and welcome to back to the outdoor world, the outside world. President Biden, he was finally released from quarantine, and he's been back out on the road. So we will talk about that as we go through this show this afternoon as well. So as Coy said, please go to SybilWilkes.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's absolutely free, and give us your name and your email address. It'll be in your email box first thing Monday through Friday morning, and we would love to have you. And you get great stories like Coy gives for us just about every day of the week, and also all of the other things that we discuss in terms of politics and things like that, as well as health and wellness.
It's great. Like I said, don't be the dummy at brunch. Get your Cliff Notes.
Okay, that's exactly it. All right, so now it's time for our question of the day. What's really going on? And one of the recent national days is National Happiness Day. Happiness Happens Day. National Happiness Happens Day. So the questions are, what makes you happy these days?
Which have nothing to do with the strip club comment earlier.
well, if that makes you happy, certainly, Huggy, we're not going to stop you from mentioning that. So what makes you happy these days, or what gives you happiness, and what do you do for yourself, or are you doing for others to bring about happiness? Because I think that it's for me. I get, and I will say this all the time. My greatest happiness comes in doing for others. That's my love language, is service to others. And so I'm really happy when I can see that people are, that I'm able to help them in some way to find, a bright spot in their lives or in their days. So that's for me. So for everybody who's watching and listening, as we go around the table here, I do want you to know that on this National Happiness Happens Day, what makes you happy these days? What made you happy today? If it's just today, what gives you happiness, and what are you doing for yourself or for others to bring about happiness? Who would like to go first?
Well, I like to see my loved ones winning.
Oh, that's nice.
I love to see my loved ones winning, my friends, family, and the people I love winning. I love to put a smile on people's face.
Yeah, and you do that. Well, you guys do that as a part of your work.
Right.
That
genuinely makes us happy when someone comes up to us and say they was in a certain place, their day, was going this way. And for that moment, you took that away from me.
Right. And kind of, lifted our spirits, took us out of our doldrums. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, which can be difficult. Yes. Which can be difficult for some people, especially if you're sleeping up against the wall. But it's just that simple.
Beds, remember those beds? The beds used to be like this back in the day, up against the wall.
And a newfound appreciation for being able to do what we love and make people laugh, because it was taken away from us during the pandemic. So you look at just how touched we were when they first started opening up the comedy clubs again, to see the people who, basically risked it all to come out and see us, because we still, they were opening up comedy clubs, but nobody really felt completely safe.
Right.
But they were risking it all to pay money to come sit in a socially distanced comedy club just to see us and laugh. And that really meant a lot to us.
Right.
And were you still able to feel the love and feel all of that as people? I don't know about you, but in the comedy clubs I've been in, the masking up and the distance and stuff, because that's really the contact that you have with people.
We became better poker players, so we saw the eyes. We saw people laughing with their eyes.
They smize.
And thank God for the lashes. You can see how the long lashes. You see how the lashes curl, man. And laughing,
and flitting. Yes.
Well, we see their faces sometimes because they're all eating while they're at the show too. So they're pulling down their mask to eat a wing.
$70 worth of debris left in the mask.
But Huggy and I, we held out for a long time as far as because that used to be a big part of our shows too. When it was over, we'd go out there and we'd make sure we shook everybody's hand, gave everybody a hug, took pictures. But we stopped doing that because of COVID, and we just started doing it. And now after monkeypox, we ain't ever gonna touch another person
Right.
again. That's worse than COVID.
We might have a partition in the green room, Sybil. I ain't messing with nobody.
I'd rather you cough in my face than
Right.
give me the monkeypox.
Right. Have you seen Chris Brown's meet and greet?
No.
Oh, you got to go look at Chris Brown's pictures.
Google it.
Google it.
Oh, is that where he was charging a lot of money?
Yeah.
Right. His meet and greet pictures has gone viral, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy. He's taking pictures. These women are paying money for Chris. One young lady is bent over with her. It's ridiculous.
They
get their money worth
in his face.
Just know that they get their money worth.
Okay. So
Chris,
Coy,
we have to start charging at our meet and greets.
Greet to me.
Exactly.
For the dyslexic people.
Coy, what makes you happy these days? How did you find happiness today? Let's start with today, maybe. But how are you finding happiness on this Happiness Happens Day?
I think I'm finding happiness with following my intuition, my inner voice, and like.
Okay, this is
really,
going down. This is not going the route.
I really am.
Inner voice, Sybil.
Yes, and not like subscribing to things that could be going on or going wrong, or like, for instance, today at work, Mondays are very, very heavy for me. I work in a kitchen, if a lot of you didn't know that. And we have a prep list to get ready for our lunch service that is typically very long and strenuous on Mondays. And what I decided to do was, I'm not going to look at this as something that is daunting and that's going to take a lot of time. I'm going to enjoy this. We're going to knock this out and we're going to have a great lunch service. And we did. And we got a lot of compliments on it. And I found out that I got compliments from our regional chef and our regional manager on how I've taken charge of this section of the kitchen. And now, like, the displays are wonderful. Everybody gives a lot of compliments on the food that I'm serving. So it just really, like, for me, going inside of myself, listening to my intuition and not latching on to what I think is bad in the moment and stuff like that, and subscribing to, I'm happy, I'm going to do well with whatever is going on, even if there's a challenge in my way.
I like how the young people can freely speak of their inner voice. When we were your age, if we were to say we had an inner voice, they would just say we're crazy.
Right.
and
talking to himself.
And put you in a back room somewhere.
Back room, catching a cab to St. Elizabeth.
Charles Manson had an inner voice.
Okay, amongst other people.
No, it's got to be inner voice. The one that I'm talking about is usually very peaceful, very calm, and it just tells you things really, really simple. Not the one that's like, no, do this, do this. Da, 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 da. If you're hearing a lot to do and it's repeating over and over, that's not your inner voice. That's your own anxiety.
So, Coy, let me ask you this: does this was this a deliberative moment that you had to decide to take, I guess, to take the steps that you needed to make things easier for you and for others in the kitchen? And was there like a light bulb moment and you said, this will make me happy and it will also help others? Yeah,
definitely. Because another thing that makes me happy is seeing people cooperate, working together, and seeing things just flow and what have you, on top of helping people and giving them a good word. And this happened out of a moment of challenges over the weekend that were very tough to deal with in the moment. And I didn't want to become a victim to how I felt and its effect on me, and then carry that into work and other parts of my life and stuff like that. And so I decided to look at this situation as it is what it is. And I'm going to keep going with knowing who I am, how I treated the situation was as best as I should have. And I did everything right. And
you changed your mentality on the assignment.
I changed my mentality, and also believing that, everything is going to work out, even though it was a very challenging situation, very tough. Everything's going to work out very well with it. It's going to be great. And
was this a recent decision on your part?
Yeah, because usually when I go through tough things, challenges and stuff like that, I can hold on to it and think that, it's the worst thing and it can bring down my mood for several days, maybe a week or so. And not saying that I'm ignoring the situation like it never happened and not acknowledging the parts that were bad or a challenge. I'm not allowing for that to continue to seep into other parts of my life. I'm literally accepting it for what it is. And then from that point, I just believe that this situation is going to be resolved and it's going to be great, or we're going to make amends, or, something wonderful is going to come out of that. I just put a positive spin on it.
Okay. So this is long-term planning on your part. And for people who are watching and listening, we would like for you to give us on this National Happiness Happens Day, what brings you happiness, or maybe it's just today. What is making you? Maybe you didn't wake up in a great mood, and so thinking about this, what would bring you happiness just in the moment, like right now? A good piece of chocolate would bring me a lot of happiness.
You
I'm
love
just saying.
chocolate that much? Well, women love chocolate.
I love chocolate. And I don't eat as much as I used to because I can't. But I do believe that chocolate makes the world happy. And at least my world, it does. So for you guys, is there something that can immediately happen that would kind of lift your spirits and make you feel a little bit happier?
You're talking about like secondhand smoking marijuana?
George Wallace, thank you so much. Happy people make me happier. Good vibes. Amen, George. I love that.
George.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
there are two types of happy people. There are people who wait for things to happen to them that make them happy, and then other people who intentionally do things. Like you asked earlier, what did we do for ourselves today to make ourselves happy? Some people never do that. They just things happen to them. A neighbor will bring over a cake surprisingly, or a friend will show up. But are you the kind of person that intentionally creates moments of happiness for yourself?
And I think that's what Coy has demonstrated too, by saying, I saw that there were some issues, and by changing the way things are and the food prep and the placement and all of this stuff, not only does it work for me, but it also works for the good of others. I think you're absolutely right, Chris. There are people who just wait for it to happen, and then there are people who are very proactive and take the happiness bull by the horns and make it happen.
Right.
I'm not talking about major life.
No.
I'm not talking about. Of course, you're happy when somebody gave you $1 million. Or you made $1 million. I'm talking about, again, the person who is happy somebody stopped by to visit them today, or the person who gets in their car and says, "I'm gonna go see Sybil. I haven't seen Sybil in so long."
Or pick up the phone. I find that
Right.
As opposed to texting too, a phone call. Writing letters. Send a letter in the mail.
Right. I'm kind of
time. A book. Give a person a book. Just
come on. And figuring out what they like.
That person likes, right? That's first and foremost. You got to know that person. Like you took time to say, okay, he gets it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly right. And like, I know I owe some phone calls, and I did call a friend of mine last week, and this is how we're not texters. And I know that she likes the phone call, and she will call me at, the strangest times, and it lifts my spirits. And so, you just got to figure those things out. I mean, whether it's your parent or, or whomever, or old friends, but there's always a way to share some happiness and to spread it around a little bit.
That's right.
I think your son did an incredible thing of bringing happiness to your world, Chris, with this baby, Marcel King. And I mean, this is a long-term happiness situation, but certainly just bringing light to your life. And for a lot of us, I mean, I'm happy just because, this has happened to you, and it's been such a gift.
But I was so nervous holding him.
You know what?
I haven't held a baby in so long.
Yeah,
A newborn. I mean, we went to the hospital. The day after he was born, and it was like, I should not be holding this thing. I am actually nervous.
You should have been watching some videos of Nick Cannon.
He's got this down pat, right?
Nick Cannon is balancing babies on his head like an African woman with a basket.
All right. Well, thanks for participating, you guys. I appreciate it. And just think about this: is those who are watching and listening, just think about this. We can have it's a day out of the year, but this can happen more often if we think about, and take others into consideration and talk about these things that are happening. So and bringing some happiness, because Lord knows in this day and age we can use all the happiness we can get.
Just being in a position, just random acts of kindness also. So.
Right. Exactly right, Hug. All right. It's time to talk trending topics. This is our opportunity to talk about things that have happened. Oh, yes. Thank you, Danielle. I was just going to go to that.
Sister?
Yes. Breaking
what are you doing
news.
at Mar-a-Lago? Get out of there.
That's my damn sister.
That's right.
Down there?
I love my little news hounds. Danielle, Huggy's sister, is making the news that I was just going to bring up. And the FBI have raided Donald Trump's home in Florida, Mar-a-Lago.
What FBI, Sybil? What does that mean, Sybil? What FBI? What does that mean?
So I will do a little bit more, but this has come across my phone over the last couple of minutes while we've been talking about happiness. And speaking of happiness, former President Donald Trump has announced that the Justice Department has been investigating the discovery of boxes of records containing classified information that were taken to Mar-a-Lago. The FBI has gone on the property of Mar-a-Lago and said in a lengthy statement that the FBI was conducting the search as he was writing out this statement after working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies. This unannounced and in my an unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, but the Justice Department has been investigating him. And even today,
he wasn't notified about the unannounced raid.
The nerve of them, Hug.
The nerve of them.
Right. This is they're looking through those boxes of records containing the classified information that he took from the White House. Remember that day of leaving the White House?
You know how much Big Mac special sauce on the document?
And just recently, we were talking about the fact that he claimed that there were claims that some of the documents were flushed. And he said that never happened. And people had some woman had taken a picture of the documents at the bottom of the toilet bowl.
Is this the same FBI that had all the Kavanaugh stuff sent to the?
So it could be regarding Brett Kavanaugh and what they decided to and what they decided not to share with the Senate committee when they were questioning him in the Senate confirmation hearings for his appointment as a Supreme Court justice.
Wow. And we're sitting here making jokes, but I mean, look at what the Trump administration has done to the institutions of our government. We're sitting here having a serious discussion that nobody trusts the FBI. Like, which FBI are we dealing with?
Right.
You don't trust Secret Service?
None of
mean,
that
that's crazy.
Come on.
He has tainted, and I mean, it's at the, I can't even speak right now. It's at the forefront. It's like everything was done in silence. We didn't know how they operated. I mean, we heard, that they were seedy, but now these new letters.
Well, think about this, you guys. The only time we really heard about the Secret Service was when one or two of them would get involved in something while they were covering the president in a foreign land. And they would get caught up with
because they didn't pay their bills at a brothel or Cartagena somewhere.
Right.
I mean, you heard about the evil or the diabolical J. Edgar Hoover. You heard about him, but And of course, everything else.
And now January 6th, the entire Trump administration and January 6th has make us, give the slanty eye to a whole bunch of people around.
We had everybody by the short and curlies. Bro.
Okay.
Everybody. Bro.
Okay.
Look at the Marvel movies, which is all fantasy. But in the Marvel movies, we had a secret organization called Hydra take over the United States so-called FBI, which was SHIELD. Samuel L. Jackson's.
Yeah.
He took over everything from behind the scenes, and that was so far-fetched and crazy because it's science fiction. Is basically what has just happened.
That's it.
It has now infiltrated different parts of our national security with agents for MAGA.
Yeah.
Who listen to Donald Trump and do whatever Donald Trump wants. How can we as a nation live like that?
Which is a whole nother set of letters there, Hug. Yeah. But you're right. How do we get back to a level of trust and feeling secure about these? What will it take?
We can't even trust the post office. Ridiculous. The highest position at the post office is controlled by a MAGA agent.
Right. DeJoy, Louis DeJoy.
Who's now going to fire, 50,000 employees, you said?
Yep.
Come on.
In order to slow the mail down so that people can't send in their ballots to vote.
DeJoy is doing the job he was instilled to do.
But here's the crazy thing. He's still there.
Right.
He's still there.
He's still there.
And Biden has control of the board that could fire him.
Yes.
What does he have on Joe Biden? He must have opened up some letters from Joe's letters.
What the heck is going on? Why is he still there, Sybil?
I don't know. I
bet you if he's a black man, he'd have been fired.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh,
if his name was DeJenkins, Johnson, Jones.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that to us, Danielle. I appreciate you being a part of the news crew and giving us that news. Before we get too far along,
and what's crazy, Sybil, they share the same birthday. Sybil.
Oh, that's right. She and Donald Trump were born on share the same birthday. Yeah.
Text me now. F you.
Flag Day. That's right. Before we get too far along, I do want to mention the fact that you guys are going to be at the House of Laughs in Delaware on the 20th of August.
Yes.
Is that still correct?
We don't even know.
Okay.
We over here buffering. We don't even know.
Yes. The House of Laughs, Wilmington, Delaware. 2 shows on that Saturday night. Get your tickets at houseoflaughs.com. That's LAFFS. And then the following weekend, we're at the Birchmere in Northern Virginia. And that's the 26th, Friday and Saturday. We're at the Greensboro Dynacon Center.
Greensboro.
And tomorrow I'll be at the Treehouse.
Doing things to make you happy.
Okay. Coy, I was told that you can talk about what you did on Saturday. And you can talk about the PSA that you did and what was your role? Can you tell us about the production?
Yes. So at the PSA that we shot, I played.
Let's give a first of all, before we talk about what you played, I'm sorry, I don't want to, but it is a PSA regarding the Roe versus Wade, overturning of Roe versus Wade, and it taking away a woman's right to abortion, and what this looks like, and who is affected by this, primarily Black women of all ages.
Wow. Yes.
So, Coy, you played
a pregnant woman who was going into distress during delivery. And now the option is deliver the baby, but likely die, or terminate the baby and save the mother's life in that moment.
And there are vignettes showing of a young girl who is the victim of a child rape. There is another young woman who is in college, and she is a victim of date rape. Unknowingly has something put in her drink. So she does. Coy is a young mother, and in the midst of labor, and how people are making decisions about her life outside of the room where she is, and because of the laws that these men have put together across the country. And so just to let people know, this is what's happening now. It has happened before, but now it's happening, and we don't have any control over our bodies except for a handful of states where we can go and have this situation rectified.
Wow.
And Coy, I understand that you put your thespian skills to good work, and we're very good.
I sure did. I didn't know I had it in me, to be honest. I always felt like I have range as an actress. So doing this role without words. I mean, shoot, dancer roles don't have words either usually. But doing something like this is a lot
lies,
more.
lies. Yes, they do, baby.
We say, shut up and pay me. That's the role. But no, we had a great time on set, and once it was time to get into character, I got a lot of compliments on how well I did. So I'm excited to see this, to see myself playing a pregnant woman. I haven't had children out yet. So I don't know, what that's like or what that would be like to be in that type of situation.
I guess I was also told I can say that our media company produced the spot, and so thank you for participating, Coy. I hope that
Coy, did you
Thank
have a
you.
coach?
No, I coach myself.
Coach Kiki?
I coach myself. I just literally imagine that this is my life. This is who I am. This is where I am in this moment in my life, and I go.
Very good.
If you were to look back on the last 45 minutes of this show,
Mm-hmm.
and just how really it basically sums up what is happening in the United States of America, the place that everyone still, I don't know why, says is the greatest country on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we living in 2022? We're living in innocent black men are still being harassed by police. Women have no say over their bodies.
Not just black men, women too, Chris, and children.
Say of their bodies, and we are actually celebrating people getting affordable medications.
What a kaleidoscope there, Chris.
And only a small percentage of people.
Right. And some people decided, maybe we should stop destroying the climate of this planet.
Yeah.
And had to fight to get that in 2020. I mean, this country is a disaster.
I heard an interesting statement. It was a woman who was not born in this country. She's a Latina, and she was not born in this country, but she came to the United States, became a citizen, and she said she is staying here and fighting to bring about the country that she was promised. Which I think is just powerful. And I think that's why a lot of us are talking about it and wanting to do something now, because the promise that was made to us, even though we were born of this country, we have not reached the level of fulfilling these promises. But I still think that we have it within us.
I mean, the power is with the people to change everything. Where
saying.
we're no longer celebrating these small victories. If everyone would, I'm talking about young and old, would just engage and vote.
Yeah,
you can't complain if you ain't partaking in your what you need to be doing to change.
That's right.
This.
Don't vote based on hatred. Don't vote for if you just voted for the issues that matter to you and your family.
And that means voting up and down the ballot.
Right. We'd all be all right. Who doesn't want affordable health care? Who doesn't want to save the planet?
Right.
I mean, the majority of the country wants women to have the right to choose.
Yeah. Yep. And if that means voting as well as running for the vote, that counts too. Which brings me to the next point. Thank you, Chris. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and there are primaries that are going to be held around the country, starting with Wisconsin, Minnesota, Wisconsin, a mansion in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Vermont, Connecticut, and people will be voting. This is if you live in Wisconsin, I do hope that you go to vote. I'm not saying that you shouldn't vote in the other states as well, but there's a brother who is running for the United States Senate, the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. His name is Mandela Barnes. He is the current lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin. And I love the fact that people have an opportunity to vote for a brother named Mandela, first of all. But he is going to be running, when he gets the nomination after the Tuesday vote, he'll be running against one of the craziest people to ever sit in the United States Senate. And his name is Johnson. I can't remember Johnson's first name, but he's the Republican senator from Wisconsin, and he is crazier than Donald Trump.
Whoa.
These are really important times, and we talk about Herschel Walker and how crazy he is. We talk about Dr. Oz and how crazy he is.
I'm Herschel Runner. I walk with this Senate seat.
But please, everybody, please, please, please get out there and vote when you can, and don't complain. Let's get out there and make things happen, and bring back the promise, and fulfill the promises that this country's once offered us.
Just look at all the people that just come under the Donald Trump. That look at that whole blueprint. That's just popping
man.
out the wood there.
Man.
Ron DeSantis and the Abbotts and the Youngkins and because he's another one, Chris.
Yep.
He is a bruh.
All of these people that are running for Senate on the Republican side, watch out for them, as well as the states of Michigan and Arizona, where up and down the board, the Trump endorsed won.
Yeah.
So let's be careful out there. And Chris, next time I want to talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We've run out of time, but I got to tell you, I watched this, and so I do want to talk about that next time. So remind me. All right, it's now time for us to talk about entertainment, and I did want to mention. Unfortunately, we have some obituaries. First of all, the most recent is the death of Olivia Newton-John.
No, I didn't hear that, Sybil.
Olivia Newton-John lost her battle, a 30-year battle against breast cancer.
I was watching Grease the other day. It was on TV the other day.
Yeah, sure. And you just happened to run across it.
Yeah.
You didn't set the DVR, did you?
Tell me more. Tell me more. Did you watch it alone?
Tell me more.
Was your daughter at home?
I knew that I wasn't the only Olivia Newton-John fan here.
She was a mega
Oh
star.
my gosh!
My wife and I were just in the car a couple of days ago talking about her because she came on serious.
When she changed into the all black get up, bro.
Oh yeah, from Grease.
Oh
yeah. Absolutely.
Bruh. And then they had the Grease 2, Michelle Pfeiffer with the Grease 2, which was
Yeah, it's sort of like watching Godfather 3. It just it's not.
It didn't hit.
Yeah, no, it did not, Coy.
Like a wet blunt, Sybil, didn't it?
Okay. Olivia Newton-John was 73 years old, had led a really interesting life, and a very talented woman, and just a valiant 30-year battle against breast cancer. So may she rest in peace. Also wanted to mention, we didn't talk about this before, Mary Alice, the actress, died. You remember Mary Alice from her roles in A Different World. She was in Matrix Revolution. She also she was a Tony Award winner for her work on stage. And she died in New York City. And her age has been reported as 80, 84, or 86. Take your pick. But they describe her as a prolific character actor on stage and on screen, a pioneer in the representation of Black actors on the off-Broadway and Broadway scenes. Now, for those, Coy, I don't know if you remember A Different World, but Mary Alice, she played the dorm director, Letty Bostick. In 2003, she was in the Matrix Revolutions, playing the Oracle, who imparts words of wisdom to Keanu Reeves' Neo. And she was also a Tony Award winner for a Best Featured Actress in the play Fences back in 1987. And lastly, want to send off a thank you for all your great work to the actor Roger E. Mosley. Remember him as TC.
TC
from
Magnum
PI, right? He passed away peacefully early over the weekend at his home, surrounded by his family. His daughter posted it and said that he recently was in a horrible automobile accident in which he was partially became paralyzed. And so, but he was 83 years old, and not only as TC in the old Magnum series, but he was also played in a number of TV series going back to Sanford and Son and the Rockford Files and all those others, including Hanging with Mr. Cooper and Las Vegas. Remember Vegas? And
Santana.
Yeah.
Santana used to get his ass whooped every show. They used to beat his ass, bro.
I'm telling you, that was crazy, right?
Oh my gosh, he used to get his ass whooped. So. And TC was groundbreaking. He was a bruh. They
Yeah.
trusted a brother back in the day to drive a
helicopter. He was a helicopter
He
pilot.
was a helicopter pilot, bruh.
He was a hell of an actor too. And
Wow.
and from our comedian friends like Myra and George Wallace, he had a comedy club in Hawaii.
Wow.
And
wow.
he was had a really good business there, and a lot of people went to work there with him.
Wow.
So
Now that he's
Roger
passed,
Mosley.
now that he's passed, does Tom Selleck get his house? You never thought of him with the reverse mortgage joke, did you?
That's right. That's right. That's funny. That's very funny. I love that.
He's still driving the car from Niggins. What's his name, bro? Oh, Higgins.
Higgins.
I call him Niggins.
That's very funny. That's very funny.
That's my cousin, man.
Did we also mention Rosanna Christensen?
No, we did not. So go ahead.
She, the actress that was on Dallas and the Jeffersons, she passed as well, and she was 71.
I tried to look at. I had no memory of her. Her name is Rosanna Christensen, and she was in a number of TV shows. And as Coy said, from Dallas, and but I looked at her and I had no memory of her. But thank you for mentioning that.
Character actors had a bigger part of national conscience back in the day because there were only 3 major channels. There were only 3 major networks. So to get a role on any show as a little side character, if we see the people all the time. But now there's 5,000 channels.
That's right. That is the truth. That is the truth.
Have you seen Ted Lane in Watt Stacks?
No.
What? I think I did see him in Watt
He was
Stacks.
so militant, Sybil. Isaac from Love. He was
Love Boat.
He had the fro.
But that would have been before he did Love Boat.
Right.
So he still got the Love Boat gig after that.
Yeah.
I mean, clean shaven, bro. I'm like, that's Isaac. I couldn't believe it was Isaac on Watt Stacks.
That is so funny. Huggy, you told me to watch the Arthur Ashe documentary, Citizen Ashe. Absolutely loved it.
Oh my God.
Absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Really was. And I still love me some Arthur Ashe, but it was it was so enlightening. Absolutely.
I've been watching the Derek Jeter series, The Captain.
Oh, right. And
I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but Derek Jeter's black.
Right.
I said, what?
Derek Jeter.
Duh.
His dad is black.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole lot of Becky said, what?
Exactly. Exactly right. Before we go, I want to leave you guys with Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration. One of the hardest things to do is to be honest with yourself. Try it. You just might like it.
Oh, so that gave me acid reflux.
That's the reflux of the brain.
Not honest with myself. Hey, you guys.
Head burn.
This has been a great hour. Thank you all so much for joining and for participating, and both for our news hounds out there giving us updates. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time. Aloha.